All right, fall's quickly approaching and we're definitely behind the 8 ball on some stuff I really want to do. Two different things that are high on the priority list. One is a hand pump for the well, which is neither here nor there right now. But the other thing is just getting spaces for the animals where they can get out of the weather as soon as it comes in. And last year with the goats, we really struggled with hoof rot. And I did have someone suggest online that maybe fire ash, wood ash would maybe help. I'm not sure. But what we're going to do is I'm going to cement in an area back here that they can get out of the weather and stand on hard ground to keep their hooves from being soaked all the time if there is mud in other areas, because inevitably during the winter with animals you get mud. And we also have sheep this year, and I'm also worried about their hooves because I've heard they can get the same thing. So what we're going to do in this particular video is just level an area back here with DG. I don't know what you have in your area, but here we have decomposed granite, also known as DG. And it's just a cheap filler that I can use to level out this area behind me by the goat's pen in preparation for putting a thin cap of concrete on it. Gonna do the same thing out at the goat pen potentially, or we're gonna do bark out there, I'm not sure. So we'll get you off here and show you what's going on. Alright, so this is the area in question. This is where we go into our chicken coop. And you can see right here where there's a root right there. And then where this pavers are, that's actually low, very low. And so in the winter, water can pool up right here. And then what happens is the goats and sheep will come in here, and this will slowly get wet from water right here. We have this, obviously this janky tarp right here. But right now, this is dry. You can see there's hay right here. But in the winter time, this will turn into a mud pit. And this is where they pick up the bacteria or whatever it is that does the hoof rot. And so what we're gonna do is, my goal is to pave in front of their hay storage right there. And they spend a lot of time right there, and then to pave this area right here in front of their loafing barn. And just make an area where when it's raining, I don't have to worry about them standing in mud. So that's the idea. Right now I'm just gonna clean up this area, get all this hay raked out of here, and you guys can sort of watch that, and then we'll get some of the DG out of the truck and get it in here and get it leveled out. Got most of this raked off here. It's all pretty much leveled out. Got to pull this gate because it's too low now, so I'm going to pull it off and cut it for right now. Since we got the gate off, we'll go ahead and put more dirt back in here. It's out of the road and keep the chickens from escaping while I'm doing it. So I'll give you guys a slightly different shot here. So this is the low area, and then I'd like for the water to go out right here down to the creek, down to the ditch. That may not be possible, so right now we're filling in that corner there and just prepping this area here. bending this up so it doesn't rub. Ay, ay, ay. Ha-ha. I don't know why I gotta screw this long. Come on. Come on, get in there. Is that in the hole? This is gonna come back off here in a, when I go to pave it, or when I go to, when I go to concrete it. All right, back on. All right, this is steeper than I want, so I'm gonna add what I've got left here and deal with the rest of it on Monday. Sweaty. Whoa, falling over too. All right, last little bit here. Alright guys, it's level, it's not totally packed in, and I gotta figure out how I'm gonna put a wood frame around it so I end up with an edge that doesn't break. It's not terrible. So I can see a couple spots I'm not super happy with, and I gotta check the grade and just make sure it runs downhill towards you guys. But it's a good start. So Monday we'll get another yard of granite, we'll come in here and get this finished up to bring it up to height. And then I got to decide where I'm going to run the water to. I want to go out that direction, your guys' left, and out and around the building, but there's a big tree right here and it runs uphill towards the roots. So alright guys, so it's been a couple days since the last part of the video where I had raked this all out and made it look nice. And I don't quite remember if I showed compacting this down, but basically, if I didn't show it, what I used is one of these hand plate compactors. And I just wetted the ground down and packed it down in here, and then poured concrete, and it's like I think it was 10 bags, 80-pound bags, so I don't know what that is. And I mixed in some of the DG I had left over into batches of bags to try to tint it slightly brown, which sort of worked and sort of didn't. The pour went okay. What I didn't want to do was cut up forms. I just wanted to throw together some 2x4x8s. So when I pull you guys off there and show you, there's just an 8-footer here, an 8-footer there, and then some leftover pieces I had here. The pour itself is literally 1 inch thick. The reason I didn't show it is it was just madness, me trying to get 10 bags in the Harbor Freight mixer and then get them out here and make sure they had enough water that it did actually start to set up over here before I really got to work it. So I put some really wet concrete on top and kind of mixed it in to get it to work out smoothly. But floated it out. It's about 1 inch thick in the middle and maybe 2 inches thick around the edges. And I still got to take the forms off and then put some filler material around the edges so that it doesn't crack out. And then next we're going to be working on the goat pad area, because that's where they'll stand when they're feeding. And then at the very last we'll do this area in front of the door here, which is covered by a tarp so it stays pretty dry. So yeah, I'll get you guys off there and get a look at this thing here. We'll probably pull the forms on camera and we'll outro the video, and next time you guys see what's going on, it'll be over there at the feeding area. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, that was just an extra piece I scabbed on. That piece laying there was right here where my foot is. I had to trim the gate up there. It was too long, so when I filled in the bottom there, I had to cut that down and raise the gate up. But it turned out nice. The chickens have been in here and they've just trashed this area. That's okay because it's not really compacted, and I got to see how I'm going to I want the water to run out the end, so I got to see how I'm going to level that out. I got to run some string line and find out how far off it is. Anyways, back to this. So very simple setup. I got a board I pounded in the corner and then cut it off so I didn't have to worry about tripping on it while I was working. This corner over here, right there, you probably can't see it on camera, but that's a little low. So I am worried about this corner chipping, so I got to get filler material in. And then I just got a stake here and a stake back there. Board should pop right out. So we'll get the hammer out and get those off and have a look at it. All right, so it looks really good. Got a little cleanup to do. Got to get some dirt up to that edge there. Got to fill in this hole here. This was the side I was worried about, but it looks like the concrete goes all the way down to the ground, so don't think I got too much to worry about there. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, it doesn't have any ring to it or hollow sound. So we'll go take a look at over here by the feeder, and I'll show you guys what's next. So this is our feeder box for hay, and we used to stack it really high in there, which it can still be done. It's about 10 feet tall, but it makes it hard to move the hay around. Right now we got a three-quarters of a bale alfalfa, but they stick their heads through here, and then you can see outside there it's already got kind of hay everywhere. And in the winter it gets muddy and poopy and peaty, and it ends up being an area where that hoof rot bacteria can grow. So I'll show you the front of it, and then that's what we're going to concrete next. And so you can see the area there on their side. And so we got a tree here, which is kind of an issue. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that, but we're going to concrete out here and just make sure that hopefully prevent some hoof rot this year. So I've already got a gate that I can close them in and kind of control if I need to get them in and out. The gate just shuts right here. So let me just put a board against it, and that keeps them from being able to get out if I need to work with them. All right guys, I just got this all smoothed out and it's pretty much graded. You can see it's already poured over there. And so this is all graded. I'm not going to let the goats back in here. Not going to let the goats. And you can see here's where I'm going to actually do my pour along this edge right here. And I'm not going to let the goats in here until I get that other section poured, but all I got time for today is this little spot here. I'm right at the edge of temperature, like just 45 degrees, probably 46, maybe 50. But I think this evening it's going to cool down quick, so I got to get this poured. So I'll bring you guys back when I've got stuff down on the ground. Also, I had to trim that whole side up along there. The siding was too low, so I had to trim it from that corner all the way to the door. And I'm hopefully going to have the water run along here and then around the corner right there. So hopefully that works well, and then we're going to concrete down that way to the ditch. Ditch is right there. All right, got it done. It's ended up being 6 80-pound bags. It's not perfect, but it'll do. I tried to leave as much room around the tree as possible. In fact, I see a spot I gotta fix. I'll go show you guys real quick. So the corners are thicker, so hopefully it won't break in the corners, except this corner here is not thicker. And then it's going to run downhill from there to right here. And I'm a little close to the tree right there. And I was able to use this 2x6 as a float, and it just, I've got finishing floats, but I don't have a big long one, so it's got a little bit of crown, and I was able to set it down on there and just go back and forth like this. And it's a little high in the middle, which is okay because it'll shed water both directions. So I'll use my bull float next and then finish it off when it hardens up. It's really cold, so it's going to be a while. But it was pretty easy, so I'm glad it's done. Protect the hooves of the goats so they don't get hoof rot, hopefully. Alright, so I would consider this area in front of the chicken coop done. I was able to spread out some decomposed granite. I didn't get enough, or I didn't have enough left. But I'll show you guys real quick. Just did it around the edges. Just did it around the edges so people wouldn't trip. So maybe it's hard to see, I'm not sure, but it's all feathered out. It's kind of steep over there and isn't filled in as far as I want, but this area here is feathered out nicely, and like I said, I'd consider that done. Hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later.